Welcome in, DLLS Cowboys family. We have the very latest on the Cowboys defensive coordinator search. We're going to begin grading the groups throughout the season. We got everything that you need to know about your Cowboys today. Let's start the show. Meow. Welcome in. It's time for
like that doctor in Columbus.
It's time for the DLLS Cowboys podcast presented by our friends at Prize Picks. We're using promo code DLLS. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And our friends at Ownwell, ownwell.com/taxes. Don't overpay on your property taxes. Let them take care of you. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. Welcome in. It's time for our show. My name is Jeff. I'm next to former Cowboy wide receiver, Jizzy Holland.
Yeah!
What about... He's actually the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Mr. Clarence Hill.
That's my favorite
I
one.
did that?
That's my favorite
He's
one.
next to the second greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Mr. Ali Jawad.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, ladies.
And we're ready to rock. I've been out of town, so I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys. You guys got to help me. Have we hired a defensive coordinator?
Not yet.
We ain't got nobody?
Not yet.
All right,
Not yet.
we
Next
looking-
wave of guys are coming in.
We looking at some people? We got some people?
Yeah, got some
people.
guys in, man. Former head coaches. Well, former head
one-
coach.
one former head
head
coach.
Oh, I don't want him.
We got a local kid.
In-house
out of
option.
DeSoto.
That sounds better.
And then we got one outside the building.
Yeah.
That sounds
All
on
right.
par.
Hit me. Who are they? What are we doing? What's going on?
We got Jonathan Gannon, former head coach, Arizona Cardinals.
Nope.
We got Zachary Orr, former DeSoto Eagle, UNT.
North Texas.
North Texas.
And the defensive coordinator at Baltimore. And then we got right in the building.
And these
Aaron
are
Whitecotton.
these are via Clarence Hill, I think.
I mean, why would we do that? I mean, Clarence Hill first reported, but on my own show is I think. I get no love at home. So I got to get my love on the road.
Oh, my God.
I get no love at home.
Yeah, eventually.
There will be eventually, but when you're first on stuff, you at least get credit for that, okay? Get love on the road. But no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Calvin usually gets him right after Clarence.
The interesting thing, and I've said this, I've said this a couple of times. You know, this is another example of Shotty being in charge, and I will just point to Zach Orr. You know, they have a relationship back when they were together with Jacksonville.
Okay.
They coached together at Jacksonville.
And Orr is Baltimore.
Baltimore is
correct.
DC.
And is he current DC, or
He's
when
the
Harbaugh
current-
gets
correct.
fired, do you get fired?
Well, they're still on. I mean, they don't. It's like the Cowboys coaches have not been released yet, even though
Okay.
He's been the last 2 years.
Like the defense coach of the Cowboys. Have not
The
been released
contracts
yet.
aren't all
Yeah.
tied to the defensive coordinator.
Oh, my God. We have a graphic?
Yeah.
I like him now. That's my coach.
Well, the thing
We're
about
playing
it,
man and we're
Blitz.
blitzing. This is my guy right
the,
here.
The problem is he didn't have any players.
He can bring
didn't-
our Darius Washington with him, former
he-
TCU player,
yeah,
my
he-
Mighty Mouse.
He didn't have any pass rush, and his secondary was trash. And as we saw here, when you can't get to the quarterback and your secondary is trash, you're not going to be a good defense. But his numbers actually got better over the course of the year. But again, here's another guy. Again, played in North Texas. You know, everybody talks about what we like about Jim Leonard, and he's a walk-on. How he's a self-made man. Well, this is a self-made man. You know, he's a undrafted free agent, played in North Texas, made the roster at Baltimore, had a career-ending injury, and then kind of worked his way back up through the coaching ranks to become defensive coordinator. But so he got it out the dirt, similar to Jim Leonard. Again, Jim Leonard's never ran a pro defense, but we like his journey. Okay, if you like a person's journey, he has a great journey. Again, the local kid from DeSoto. But going back to Whitecotton, there's no way you can hire. I mean, you give him the interview,
Well,
but there's no way you can hire somebody else who
An
was part of this
underperformed
defense.
defensive
Can
line.
I just
Right?
Can I for a second just tell you, Clarence, that I just want you to be careful. I don't want you to. They're not
That's
picking
a
a guard this.
theoretically. That's a theoretically. No, in theory,
We
at
hired
reasonable minds, there's no way you can potentially hire a defensive coordinator.
We hired an offensive coordinator who was under a guy who we thought had failed the offense. And we hired the guy that was underneath him to be our head coach.
I said
Don't do this.
theoretically.
Just don't say.
Don't do this.
Don't
I'm
say
just
no.
saying.
Don't do this.
No, I'm just
I
saying
know.
that we hired. You can't say that we can't hire a guy because the same guy who we fired last year, Michael from Pittsburgh, who everyone said had ruined this offense, we went and we made the guy who was his understudy or not understudy, but his.
There's a caveat there.
Okay. Oh, here we
Oh, we're
go.
doing caveats.
Let's go.
We back to
Caveat.
caveats. The year before they were very good, and
23.
and Schottenheimer was part of that. And they would say Schottenheimer was part of when, remember earlier in the year when they were bad and now they took off and Schottenheimer helped make some of those decisions.
What did Whitecotton what was Whitecotton at before here?
Jets.
Jets.
I'm just talking about here.
I'm just saying. Let me put a caveat on top of your caveat.
Well, you can. But I'm
Aaron
just saying
Whitecotton was a part of a good Jets defense when he was over coaching Quentin Williams in New York.
2 caveats. I just want to help you. I just want to help you craft.
I agree.
You're a respected journalist.
Okay.
And I want to help you craft your statement here.
Okay.
You think
Theoretically.
that it wouldn't make a lot of sense.
There you go.
And it
I
would
think that goes
probably
with
be a
Whitecotton.
poor
That
idea.
that goes without saying, I would
Okay.
say. I don't know if we have to explain all that, but
All right.
for all the gotcha people, who gotcha? You said this.
Oh, I'm waiting to
but
get
gotcha, you gotcha people.
I can't wait to get you.
So if it was-
it doesn't. It don't make a lot of sense.
it-
but
if
you
it-
had to give me an interview.
If it was Whitecotton, is that a Jerry or Shoddy decision?
Whoever it is, they need to fire themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
Exactly.
say this with all due respect,
Yes.
because the last thing I need in my life right now, we hadn't spoken in a while, but we were friends. I just don't keep in contact with people a lot. The last thing I need is Brad Sham to tweet me and tell me that I don't know what the hell I'm talking
Oh
about.
my
and I'm an
God.
idiot.
Oh, he sees.
But I'll tell you that if Aaron Whitecotton ends up the Cowboys defensive coordinator, then you're just going to have to live in a real world of optimism of, man, I don't know a lot about the guy, and he'll be better at this than he was at his last job. He deserves a promotion, even though he didn't seem to do a great job at his last job. Because if you think that this defensive line played better than the individual parts are this year, I don't. And so I don't think the defensive line coach right now deserves a ton of praise, credit, and promotion.
No.
That's where I am.
No, the 3 best players in the line were ready-made prospects. I mean,
Right.
You did nothing to make them good.
Ezeraku was a worse pass rusher than he was in college. There wasn't anybody on this line that you went, oh man, I bet somebody's really getting them going. And so yeah, he would be a very uninspiring hire. And if it got done, that to me would at least scream partially of Jerry, because it would mean you got the cheapest guy you could find.
And while we're going through this entire process, I mentioned this yesterday, and I've made a declaration to myself in private. I'll now do it in public.
Okay.
The one thing that I'm going to stand 10 toes down on in this entire process, because I know that Jerry and Brian Schottenheimer, when they speak certain things in press conferences, we latch on to them, we cling on to them, and we hold on to them. And they talked about communication, and that has been the thing that everyone has been basing their think pieces off of is communication. Well, I'm about, tell me what they have developed. Okay. Yes, teaching is cool.
Yeah.
You got to develop.
Yeah.
You have to be able, to your point, like you just said about Whitecotton. Ezeraku was not developed as a player, right? Like he didn't take the leap that you needed him to take. You're going to need someone that is put in place.
And he got him arrested.
I don't know.
Sorry, that's next.
Yeah. You're going to need a defensive coordinator, and I don't know if that's in Jim Leonard's wheelhouse or Gannon or whatever have you. Can they develop?
Right.
Can you
Correct.
Can you take that 3rd round pick and bring him along?
Right.
And make him a formidable rotational player? Can you take that starter and build around him and elevate his game, elevate those B-level players? Like, that's the part that I am most concerned about. I get the communication, and I'm not ignoring it or pushing it to the side or calling it irrelevant in the process of this all. There is a component that needs to be had in the communication department. How do I get better football players? If I can't always acquire them via draft or acquire them via free agency because my ownership is unwilling to spend the financial dollars to go get them, then I have to be able to turn in the sugar.
Right.
I got to be able to do that.
I think that, number one, we're projecting with most of those guys who've never done it before, never been coordinators. But just to your point of the words.
Except Gannon. Gannon's been a coordinator.
I was going to
With the Eagles,
But he got his own stuff.
Yeah. But if we're going to get to Gannon just for a second. But I would say this, that most of the stuff is just generic talk. Who doesn't want a teacher? Who doesn't want to motivate? If I'm out there looking for a coach, Shotty wants a teacher. He wants a communicator. He wants a motivator. Who don't want that in the coach? Who, like, I'm looking for a wife. I want somebody that's beautiful and
we know what you
kitchen.
want.
We know
Beautiful,
what you want.
cook, clean.
Yeah, we know.
You walked into that
Kitchen, laundry room, bedroom.
That's it. Kitchen, laundry room, bedroom.
3 places.
You ain't
for
getting the allegations.
and you don't buy a watch. Why?
Nah, you didn't get me now. Why
don't you buy?
What Charles
there's a
Barkley
clock on the oven.
said. Charles Barkley said that there's a clock on every oven.
I really don't do older women. But anyway, I'm just saying those are just generic terms like, Shotty, I want a teacher, I want a communicator. Who don't want that?
Yeah,
Who don't want that?
But here's the thing: there are greater communicators than others.
This is true, but just the idea of, because when they brought the current staff in, they're college guys or teachers. That was the buzzword last year. Yeah, when they brought Riley and some of the guys from college, the receivers coach, because they're teachers. That's what most coaches generally want. Yes, some are better than others, but the idea of I want a teacher, communicator, that's what you want and all. And I bet if you go back to last year, you ask them about Matt Eberflus, they would have said the same thing. It didn't turn out that way, but they would have said the same thing.
But no one said that about Matt Eberflus. Even his old players said he didn't communicate.
No, I'm talking about before the season, not during the season.
I'm talking about before he got here. All his other players said that he was a horrible communicator.
I talked to some people from staff yesterday, and
who were they?
They're very excited about. Somebody told me that they believe Bland's outside corner more than inside corner. I know we talked about that during the year.
Okay.
Do you believe? Because I thought he was more of a slot than outside.
I think he can do either one, and I think people got way too excited about him when he had all his pick sixes, which were great. I loved it. But he's a starting corner.
Right.
Wherever he is, I think that's what he is.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play him outside, that's fine. You want to play him inside, that's fine. What I don't love doing is if it's not something that's in that player's DNA or it's not what they've done all along, don't do this crap. Either he's this or he's that. I don't want you to, this week we're doing this, and then this week we're doing this. Just pick one.
But you were saying that you had.
Well, I was just saying that we were just talking about the corners, and they think Rebel got hurt again, and they just think they pushed him out there too fast, and things that we've talked about before. But they think they just need one corner. Obviously, they said the Diggs is what was injured,
right,
and was not the same player, and didn't focus and didn't study and all the other things that he needed to be back in his playbook as much.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
We knew. But just
whoop-de-doo.
Exactly.
If they think
they didn't bring up the poll.
Let's say a poll fell on his head.
But
that's decision making. He didn't make good decisions.
You try him out on the TV. It was way up there, and then
but just quickly on Gannon. Do you believe Gannon is the leader in the clubhouse now? Or there's still Leonard?
I hope not.
I think it's Leonard.
I don't like that somebody in the chat said that I look like Gannon, because they must have seen the show on my little bitty personal YouTube page this morning. DLLS product, trust the tape. Because I was talking with Brian Broaddus, and I told him I'm uncomfortable with Jonathan Gannon. And it has nothing to do with anything that's real. I just facially profile, and I think he looks like a psychopath. Then I saw him put hands on a player. And so now I project other things
you don't like that?
into his personal life that I think but then somebody said that I look like him.
It's his pupils.
The pupils are too big?
They're too big, and they don't
the whole eye is pupil.
The whole eye is pupil. It's all black. So it's he looks like
no soul.
Yeah. Remember when Bone Thugs and Harmony, I miss my Uncle Charles, and they'd hit Uncle Charles in the forehead, and his eyes went black.
Yeah.
That's what his eyes are starting to do from the Bone Thugs and Harmony video with Uncle Charles. The pupils are getting way too big.
I'm
They're
uncomfortable
dark.
with it.
Yeah, I'm not making a prediction or whatever else. A coach's agent friend of mine said he thinks it ends up being Gannon based on the dialogue with the guys we work with in Arizona, the way he's talking and where they're talking. So we'll see.
I mean, proven commodity as a defensive coordinator. I think if you
Former
look
head
at
coach.
if you look at the former head coach,
So he reunites with Clayton Adams too.
yeah. And if
Two
you look
Cardinals
at
on your staff.
if you look at the personnel that he had when he was a DC, I think you would also go, oh, was he awesome? Or was he the guy who was in charge of all the awesome guys? And that's always a hard thing to figure out.
And that's what in them. They got to get players. I mean,
Right.
I don't care who
Oh,
you bring in.
absolutely.
And everybody,
That's
you know,
number one.
you got. I don't care if you bring in a Texas coordinator or whoever else.
You need
If you don't
players.
have those Texas type players on every level of defense, it's not going to look the same.
Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, we are going to, over the next couple of weeks, grade every unit on this team and talk about what they got to do at that spot. We're going to start with the secondary, and it is next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Let's take a second, talk about our friends at factormeals.com. Factor is absolutely incredible. You guys probably know by now I refuse to push a cart around a grocery store. I don't know why, but I'm a basket man, which means I can't get enough groceries to have enough things. Plus, if I got enough groceries, I would end up throwing out the groceries because I wouldn't use them fast enough because I wanted to get more groceries. Factor Meals is going to take care of you, and I love them for it because what you get is all sorts of great variety. You can get all sorts of healthy meals delivered right to your door, and then the preparation is easy, as little as 2 minutes on a lot of these things. No refined sugars, artificial sweeteners, things of that nature. 100 rotating weekly meals, all sorts of different things. You want Mediterranean diet? You're looking for high protein? You want calorie smart? Bang, bang, bang. They got you on all those different things. It's our friends at factormeals.com/DLLS50 off is what you need. Use the code DLLS50 off. You get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. Also want to shout out our friends at Qualis Roofing. Over 700 five-star reviews, an average rating of 4.9. That's our friends at Qualis Roofing, the most trusted name in roofing across North Texas and Austin. Whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, Qualis can take care of you. They specialize in residential and commercial roofing projects, and they get you hooked up. If you're a DLLS listener, you schedule a free roof inspection, you get a free DLLS t-shirt. How about that? And if you replace your roof with our friends at Qualis, you can choose between a free Blackstone grill or a free Traeger smoker. That's what they do for you. That's our friends. Qualis Roofing, they're not just good at roofing, they're great at communication. You'll always know where your project stands, what to expect next. Mention DLLS when you call in. That does help our show. You can go online to schedule your free roof inspection. Don't forget to ask about that free grill. Visit QualisGC.com or just search Qualis Roofing and Construction, QUALIS, 817-500-9008. Get started today. It's the DLLS Cowboys podcast. As we work our way through the offseason, we will talk about every group of players, every position group, and how they were this year and what we are looking forward to them doing about that in this offseason. And welcome to the Cowboys secondary, where we each, before the show, put our grades on how they performed over the course of this season. You can leave yours in the chat if you'd like. Also, hit the like button. We look a little lacking today, and that's not good. It's full off season now. It's time for celebration and fun, okay? So we need the interest level to ramp up. Tell your friends. And so we have our grades for the Cowboys secondary in this season of football. If you want to put, okay. All right. There's our grades. So Clarence gave him an F. I went with an F minus. That don't look like me, though. Ali.
That don't look like you?
I don't know. Is that Jonathan Gannon? Dang. Jesse gave them a PH. Is that
Yeah.
And Ali gave him a Z, just because I guess a Z is lower than an F.
Well, I looked it up. It says a Z. In some institutions, they use a Z for stop attending / no work, which the defense.
Oh. I thought you were going to say I looked it up and Z is the last letter in the alphabet. And I was going to tell you, I already had that information.
No.
So I want to start with
Funny.
cornerback. And I want to go back to something that you just told us, Clarence, about the Cowboys viewing Deron Bland as they would like to have him as a guy who plays outside corner. Because I think the
Out in the
most
former staff, so we'll know what the next
okay,
step says.
that's fair. Well, and that's a separate segment. But I mean, you want to know why you find yourself in a tailspin and you're kind of lost with no direction right now? because you keep pulling people either off the couch or probably don't deserve a job, and then you give them input on the players, and then they do a terrible job and you fire them. And so now somebody else is going to come in and inherit the players that someone else wanted. If you're going to have your coaches have big input into who plays for them and to draft picks and acquiring personnel, you better know that that dude's going to be here for a half decade, because otherwise you're spinning your wheels. Matt Eberflus got to have say and guys who played on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And now somebody else is going to come in and they're like, and there's the guys. And you're going to be like, well, I don't want that or that or that. And it's just like, make sure you're actually hiring the best so that they'll be around. Then they can say who they'd like to have. But anyway, so at corner, if they view Bland as an outside guy, I think one of their biggest priorities, I think one of the first-round picks is going to be a cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to happen. And in a vacuum, I don't think it would be dumb to add another starting corner. But that circles back to, what do the Cowboys think about a guy that you mentioned, and that's Savone Revel.
Mm-hmm.
1 year removed from a third-round pick.
What's up, Dad?
A lot of people would say if he wasn't hurt.
You know you petty. You know you petty.
He watches.
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, Jesse. You know what Jeff. You know he's doing.
A
right?
lot of people would say he would have been a first-round pick if he was healthy in the draft process. And so are they going to build this team this offseason as if, bing, there's a starter?
They
or
shouldn't.
They shouldn't? I
That's
agree.
what's got him in this place right now.
Yeah, I agree. I just wonder if they have so many things that they have to do that's one of the ones where they're just going to have to go, we're going to be optimistic there.
Well, and really you've been optimistic on Bland. I mean, let's be honest.
He's starting no matter what.
Is he going to be healthy? Can you trust he's going to stay healthy?
That's fair.
You know, and they paid him coming off this foot surgery, knowing that he could re-injure it again, because we have to make up for the decision to move on from Michael Parsons. We got to say, we're going to use that money on these other players.
That's right. We got to keep Deron Bland because we got rid of Parsons. Aren't you happy now?
And then he gets hurt, and he's not been healthy all year. You know, and what's,
can I just say one thing from a player's
same point as I'm saying, they knew that it was a chance for re-injury.
Yeah.
from a player's perspective on that, because we say it as if it was the wrong thing to do. I think Deron Bland earned to get paid. Now, what you paid him, we can argue that till the cows come home. But Deron Bland wasn't unwarrantedly paid. Like, it wasn't like it was a reach to pay Deron Bland.
No, it was always a decision.
He got the market rate of a pretty good NFL player.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's been 2 years since he's been that player. I mean, because he wasn't that player last year. Okay,
that's fair.
And that's the issue. Is he wasn't that player.
But I don't want us to say like,
recently,
and they paid Deron Bland as if it was like, no,
but
he earned that.
But he did based on what he did 2 years ago. But we all know that part of the motivation to pay Deron Bland had anything to do with justifying the move to get rid of. If it was just it in a vacuum by itself, it's one thing. But we also know it was a part of the justification of getting rid of Michael Parsons. Now we're going to use this money on Deron Bland. It wasn't just he earned his money.
Could have used it on Jordan Lewis instead.
And that's another thing that they keep saying, and Coach said yesterday, and again, Jerry said it, that I've never seen the regret, open regret, that the Cowboys have shown of late about letting Jordan Lewis go. And they openly regret that losing Jordan Lewis. We all knew Jordan Lewis, again, junkyard dog. Always, he got injured again this year. Same foot he got hurt with the Cowboys, right? Yeah. And he's out for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But junkyard dog.
But they don't value that because and the reason they don't value
if it's a guy that they also like.
But they don't value it because it's not a part of who they are.
Right.
Because they get rid of the junkyard dogs. They get rid of the guys who bring you like we were talking about this in the pre-show prep about, Houston's defense.
Yeah.
Like, that is a direct reflection
of the coach
of DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah.
That, without a shadow of a doubt. They value those type of players. They bring in those type of the Al-Shahirs of the worlds. That dude who plays with his hair on fire and totes the line, and sometimes he's been suspended enough to know and fined enough to know he'll cross it.
Oh, he dirty.
Oh, yeah.
But they love it. And D'Amico was like,
First time Pro Bowler.
yeah. He'll be as soon as he come off his suspension, he'll be back. And so they honor those type of players because they understand their overall value to what they want to have as a defense. Make no mistake about it, those type of players, they inject that across the board. And so you have a couple junkyard dogs, and now others want to roll in that junkyard dog pack. The Cowboys don't value that because it's not who they are. So they'll go, oh, this. They talk about chemistry, they talk about locker room, they talk about culture, but you keep talking about this level of physicality, but you keep getting rid of the dudes who actually embody it.
Right. Tank and J. Lou.
Don't give me the guys who look good in the uniform.
Yeah, and that's a good point because I can say we can argue all day about Michael Parsons, his personality and where he fit. We know he's a great player, but you can talk about leadership, personality, all that stuff, and Tank and J. Lou bought in. They were junkyard. They are cornerstone guys who embodied everything you want. What you're talking about. But financially, they didn't value J. Lou financially. And at this point in his career, he owed it to himself to go get paid.
100%.
And you've seen J. Lou and him talk. He still hates the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
He didn't want to leave, but he owed himself to himself and his family. I got to go get paid. The same thing's going to happen with Javonte Williams. Listen, I love it here.
Plus, they traded for George. Jordan had to go.
Huh?
Once they traded for George, Jordan had to go. He's like, I ain't trying to hang out there.
Well, all that. and let's be honest, they also thought that, we can play Bland at slot.
Right.
That was all. And we probably going to pay Bland, and we can play him at slot.
Yeah. Man, I think maybe in the NFL, it's time for maybe I would want to be the team. Like we talk about positional values and how this doesn't make as much and this one doesn't make as much. I might be the one team that was like, I think you're all wrong, and I will pay for the top slot corner. Because it's not the same as like when you're outside and when there's no safety help, like there's a lot of room out here and I don't have the same amount of help. And yes, in theory, that's harder. But you put the guy in closer to the line and you got another part of the game you got to worry about more often. You got to be the dog. You got to be willing to play an edge and play the run, and you got to be willing to do the dirty part of football.
And that's another thing about the Cowboys. We're talking about honoring those level of players. The Cowboys are only paying top dollar for the guys that can bring ticket sales. The quarterback, the receiver, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They're not looking, to your point, and saying we need to change the game and pay that slot corner above market value because of what they bring to our defense. They're just not into that. Mm-mm. Part of the reason that Mike is no longer here was because you were going to have a record-setting, game-changing, league-wide changing payment made to a defensive player. Should you have made it? We all agree that they should have. But to them, when it got personal, it was just like, we are not comfortable paying that to a defensive guy. We're comfortable with making the quarterback. We're comfortable giving the receiver. But the defensive side, they don't value it. Right. It is not a value to them.
Right.
They don't put the necessary resources in it to make it good. Yeah. They hope to draft. Because here's the thing about defense. You let Taco hang around. You let guys like Fajoku hang around. You let guys like Mozzie hang around for years, never addressing these needs and these issues. How long have we talked about defensively? Hey, we need to get some. We needed to get a Quinn. We've been talking about getting a Quinnen Williams
for a long time
since I stopped playing. That's been the conversation.
Yeah.
Since Jay Ratliff retired or went to Chicago.
And what it took to do it was the owner looking dumb.
Right. But that was Rob Marinelli who told them we don't value defensive tackles. And we don't,
nose tackles.
Well, yeah, but they didn't value defense. I mean, you look at the defense tackles. They did not invest in defensive tackles since that time. And we know Jay Ratliff and Jason Hatcher and those guys and the type of impact they had. But they showed in drafting and paying in free agency, they didn't value defensive tackle. And it bit them. And yes, they've been needing the guy in the middle. But sadly,
or linebacker,
sadly,
or secondary.
Sadly,
3 guys in the middle.
Sadly, they thought they were fixing it with Monty Smith. That was they picked him in the first round.
Yeah,
they thought they had
Athletic
a guy, had an
freak,
anchor.
and they rode that train into
like 3
year
years.
2 with no evidence he would be good, and then into year 3 with no evidence that he would be good, and just like, yeah, but we picked him, so he's about to be. And I think that's their probably biggest flaw is, I don't know if it's laziness, being cheap, or if it's just optimism. Where it's just like, what are you talking about? He's coming.
It's all 3.
That guy's coming.
It's all 3.
Right. And I know we were talking about corner, but it goes back to the front. I was talking to it's hard to cover in the secondary when you don't get to the quarterback.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually ask Green Bay the same question. They got the full Micah experience this year. Really good defense. Micah got hurt. They were the worst defense in football the rest of the way. Star Guardian is casting a vote for DC in the Super Chat. We want Flores or Durante. And Daniel Escobar's in there saying, just sending love for that Bone Thugs mentioned earlier by Jesse, and FYI, y'all can catch him at Rollertown on 320.
Yeah, I don't know. And also I don't know if the Cowboys willing to, the entree sounds.
Durante.
Right. I don't know.
Sounds what?
What he sound?
Sounds what?
Time for to take a break.
Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, it is a Tote That Thang Tuesday.
Tote that thing!
What would you like to see that we saw on Wild Card Weekend that you'd like to see the Cowboys do next season? It's next. All right, friends, let's take a second to talk about our friends at OwnWell. I want you to go to ownwell.com/Texas. Why do I want you to do that? Because I want you to save on your property taxes. I don't want you to pay more than you have to, and that's what our friends at OwnWell do. And guess what I'm not qualified to do? Figure out how all that works. Hearings or paperwork or where do I go? How do I do this? OwnWell are the professionals at this. They will protest what your property tax is, and in most cases, get that bad boy brought down for you, and it doesn't cost you anything unless they save you money. So if your mortgage is going up because of an increase in your property tax bill, our friends at OwnWell, they got you hooked up. It's ownwell.com/Texas. Make sure you're only paying what is fair. You don't have to do any hearings, paperwork, any of that stuff. No upfront costs. Stop overpaying. Start saving. That's what our friends at OwnWell are going to do for you. You can sign up in 3 minutes at ownwell.com/Texas. That's ownwell.com/Texas. Also want to salute our friends at Prize Picks. By this point, you guys know I wear Prize Picks out. All you have to do is decide if you think that your favorite, least favorite, whatever, player is going to have more or less than a projected stat in any given game. That's all you got to do. You combine those picks, you get them right, and you win money. That's our friends at Prize Picks. Unfortunately, I cannot wear out Jalen Hurts anymore because they don't play any more football games. But, boy, I had a good time saying less than on his passing yards. I had a great time going A.J. Brown's second half less than whatever his receiving yards are. I had a good time. I use Prize Picks to do a little hating. I like to mix in a little hating, but you can do it however you want. Again, all you do is say, yeah, that player, that stat, more or less. That's it. With our friends at Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code DLLS. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS. Gets you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
And we're
Welcome back, everybody.
You good there, Jeff?
It's DLLS Cowboys. Jesse handed me the football right before we came back on, and he made sure it really got in there. It's the DLLS Cowboys podcast, and it is a Tote That Thang Tuesday. What did you see from Wild Card Weekend that you'd like to see the Cowboys carry into next season? It's presented by our friends at OwnWell, ownwell.com/Texas. Make sure you're not overpaying for your property taxes. Dro Nose is in the super chat. He said, wish we had an Shire. Instead, we had confused Kenny, Jack Snowboots, and Wilson Phillips. Hire run a defense Raheem. He was the DC for the Rams Super Bowl. We always appreciate you, Dro. Kerry, he said, I want Dallas to tote that Houston dog defense. Yes, I would really like to just take the Houston Texans defense. I think that would be great. And Swayze's in the super chat said, maybe not pay all your resources for one player on defense so when said player gets hurt, you can still have a good defense. Grandpa finally gets it. I would say that I would say
we like Micah.
That's a really weird
shot.
Like, I get it because there's a salary cap. I understand the point. Those are the difference makers. If you don't have them, you suck.
None.
But if your plan is to have okay people everywhere, that's great. You're going to go 8-9.
People jab at him.
Great.
on the playoffs, Micah, but him and Myles Garrett have the same amount of playoff sacks won. I'm just throwing that out.
I just don't care. Like it's like Dak. You pretend he's bad in the playoffs because the team didn't win in the playoffs. Dak hasn't been bad in the playoffs. Like I don't care what narratives become because people are too lazy to look at what individuals do. I just don't care. All right. Let's tote that thing. And eeny, meeny, miny, I'm firing that sucker over there. Ali. Tote that thing.
Getting the graphic, John? No graphics?
You don't know
I thought we were doing the graphics.
You got a little KBBU?
All right, there we go. I'm going to tote situational football because I think that's something that really stuck out in a wild card weekend. I did a little research, and starting with the red zone, the Panthers were 4 of 4, the Rams were 4 of 5, Packers 3 of 3, Bills 3 of 3, Jags 3 of 4, Niners 2 of 3, and Eagles 2 of 3. And then third downs. Chicago is 10 of 19, Jacksonville is 5 of 9, Bills are 7 of 4, Texans were 10 of 15. You win football games when you're in the red zone. You win football games on third down. A couple of Monday nights ago, Troy Aikman said you pay your quarterback to play on third down. I like to think of it as you pay your offense to win on third down, to win the red zone. The Cowboys did pay a bunch of those guys on offense. They're going to be paying some more on offense as well. But then you look at games like Denver, Arizona, Minnesota, Detroit. Dallas didn't get it done in situational games. They went 2 of 12 on third downs against the Vikings, and those are all must-win games as well. So, and some of those teams I mentioned didn't win as well, but they still found a way to put points on the board and capitalize in those situations. So I know we point fingers to the defense, special teams, whatever, but there is still, in my opinion, one area to fire off on the offense, and that is in situational football. Like I don't want to be the one to let the offense off the hook, but come on now, you got to be better in those moments. And also think about it like this. It does tie back to the defense because if you don't win in those situations, you don't have the defense to make up for those issues until you fix it. We saw last night C.J. Stroud fumble the ball a couple times. Texas defense never once blinked. If you cannot win in those moments and you have a bad defense, it's pretty much over for the Cowboys.
It's good. I, for one, would like to thank the Cowboys offense for not being good at situational football at the end of the year.
Goes back to the draft.
Otherwise, our draft pick would be lower.
I mean, we got to
won a game.
If they win those moments, they're probably playing at least this past weekend.
Oh, they'd be done.
Games.
Yeah, they'd be done now.
They would have been done.
If they had played this weekend, they'd be done now.
We get a little more time to talk about them playing.
Either way, it would be fine. All right. Eeny, meeny, miny. Jesse!
Tote that thing!
For me, I spoke about
we
this before.
didn't have good spacing on those routes. We were both in the same area, but I knew where I was going.
Now
You were ready for it. The trajectory of the ball with him.
I knew where I was going. Yeah.
You know, he might have tried it because he got the long arm. Yeah. But the trajectory of the ball went here.
You ran the wrong route. For me, it's it's controlled dogs. Like I need coachable, controlled dogs. I need guys that's going to go out there and to be coachable. You watching every one of these football games, not only offensively, but defensively. You see players doing what needs to be done. Part of the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably going home so much so, Aaron Rodgers is terrible. But also, when you look at every time they come to the sideline, he's fussing about somebody not running the right route or somebody's not doing what they're supposed to be doing within the confines of the offense and or the defense. I need coachable dogs. I said this before. I need that dog to attack when I need that dog to attack. I need that dog to sit when I need that dog to sit. If we can't find a way to get some coachable dogs on this roster, then we are going to find ourselves here at the end of the year next year with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And about it being an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator or a head coach, you got to go and find you some coachable dogs. You know, you watch Herbig last night from the Pittsburgh Steelers and just how, you know, just an attack dog, right? You watch players, Puka Nacua. You watch all these type of coachable dogs. DJ Moore. You go watch that Bears wide receiver core. You want to play wide receiver for Ben Johnson? Damn it, you gonna block. The star is gonna block. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand that this block could spring a 15, 20, 30-yard run. And all these things set up one another. Jerron Jennings up there in with the 49ers. They say, you know, cool, we lose George Kittle. We keep on pushing because the next dog that comes in there says, I have to be able to be coachable and to do the job that I have been assigned to do. Give me some coachable dogs.
Like that, but not too coachable. Mostly coachable. But a little bit of crazy.
That crazy dude in Houston, is he coachable? Because he keeps getting penalties. But he a dog.
Which one?
Which one?
Al-Shire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's coachable.
Yeah, just
He don't
coachable enough.
He don't listen to the coaching points. Don't
Coachable enough.
Don't get suspended.
Now,
Go to the echo of the whistle. Don't go.
You know what he tells.
Don't get. Huh?
You know what D'Amico tells him every single time.
What?
First one's on me. He said the first one's on me.
Okay, but the second and third was on him.
Nah, he said the first one's on me. It's usually the first one that gets him thrown out of the game. But D'Amico lets him know, hey, I need that from you.
Okay.
First one's on me.
Do it once.
You need some crazy animals too. I mean, because I don't know if he's all that coachable.
Nah, Al-Shire, you got to call him twice. But he gonna come. You got to call him
I'm
twice.
just saying, I just need some dogs.
You got to call him twice.
We do have people in the chat that when Will Anderson, when it's time to pay him, they need to just let him go.
Right. That's
Sure.
what they say.
Because
you know,
what if he makes money and gets hurt?
No.
Yeah,
you
let
can't
him-
keep your best
God
player.
forbid. He's not good, right?
Stingley too. Well, they already paid Stingley. I was about to say.
Oh, you should have let him
Should've
go.
let him go.
He's making a little too
Don't
much
play
now.
it. I mean, that's just crazy.
Let me just drop back here. I'm going to drop back.
Clarence
Clarence
Hill.
Hill. Tote that thing.
You see that? You see that?
That's good hands.
You see that?
Well, that's because there's not a lot of air in the ball.
There you go. Ball secure. Test your ball security.
Yeah, man.
What? Can I help you?
That's an old man strength, boy. You can't knock this out of my hand.
Oh, next time.
I want to tote this tracksuit, though. I like that,
Cokes
though.
and
dog.
chips
Why you
on
got
every
that
morning.
at? Show them the whole tracksuit. Instead of showing the whole
Target.
tracksuit.
We need a Mr.
Sports
Fourth
Authority.
Sports.
Show them that whole tracksuit.
Who's the one that we're doing read after? Dick's Academy Sports.
Show that whole tracksuit. Show that tracksuit.
Whichever sporting goods
Y'all
store
show
would
that
like to be
tracksuit.
a sponsor
Tote
of the
that
show.
tracksuit. Look at it.
Here we go. Okay. Point it down. That's our clue.
Show that. See what you did? See what you did? Show that tracksuit, man.
I don't play around, man.
Hey.
My socks always.
I can't see a tracksuit without thinking about the Nutty Professor.
Listen, again, when you start wearing tracksuits, you're unk.
Yeah.
I am on.
You're unk. I'm just saying, you get up there.
Does it
that's
fit?
That's old
Does
man
it fit?
gear.
Does it fit?
That's old man gear.
And is it comfortable?
Tracksuit. That's old man gear. That's unk gear.
19 years later, you pop.
Goes out your tote.
Wait, where'd the ball go?
It's all put it down.
He fumbled
dirty.
it.
You
He
ain't
fumbled
told
it.
nothing.
I haven't had a chance.
Oh.
I was listening. I mean, I didn't know me saying tracksuit was going to turn into a dance show.
Well,
You said show him.
Ask him to stand up.
I just said stand up and show him. I didn't say go and
You should know better.
Yeah, you should definitely know.
That's
that.
on you. Like you never worked with him before.
Listen, I'm toting defense, and I know it's generic, but I'm like Nico. Defense wins championship. And one thing we have not seen throughout the playoffs that was driven home as Aaron Rodgers was driven into retirement was defense. I mean, they pounded him, but that Texas defense. But you look at the New England defense, and Texas had great players. Now, the New England defense, I don't know who's great on that defense. I know my boy Milton Williams from Fort Worth got the big money from Pittsburgh. From Philadelphia last year. I know that name. I don't know any other name on that defense, but they pounded the hell out of Herbert. A guy, the Cowboys.
Yeah, he doesn't have no line either. But yeah.
Okay, he hadn't had a
We
line.
couldn't.
The Cowboys couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
But they pounded the hell out of him because whether it's players or whether it's scheme or whether it's doing what you're supposed to do and doing your job, that's been a theme for me throughout the playoffs. I think that's something I want this Cowboys to have. And we talk about value defense. Guys bring up, don't pay your best defensive player.
God forbid you do
They
that.
paid their best offensive player, then they played another best offensive player, then they played another best offensive player.
Yeah.
Go get dogs. Pay your best defensive player, and then get him somebody to run with. Go get him Quinn. You could have Micah and Quinton, okay? And then go get you a real corner. Go get you somebody that's at the top of the league in corner. Because you look at the Texans, they have difference makers, star players, elite players on every level of the defense, and that's the best defense in the league. The problem the Cowboys have had is they valued offense over defense. You look at their pay scale. The great majority, all the top players, they're on offense. None, a handful on defense. Value defense. Value dogs. You talk about situational football. I love it because everybody talk about, Dak's mistakes in the playoffs and the turnovers. C.J. Stroud had how many turnovers last night?
17.
5 times.
He was selling. He was trying to lose.
He was trying to lose real bad.
And beyond the turnovers, he was awful.
Yeah.
But that defense, you can make mistakes,
up
but you
the
got a
mistakes,
defense
What they do?
They
to Aaron
don't give up
Rodgers?
nothing, huh?
What they do to Aaron Rodgers?
I said pounded him. They didn't pound him.
Yeah, they did a little bit.
Absolutely.
They pounded him. I mean, like, dude, he ran him.
I want you to know you lost the ball again.
He took it.
That's 2 times.
Anyway,
I can't
defense.
Yeah.
Nico said defense wins championships.
But you're not on board with the Luka trade, right? Just making sure.
What'd you say?
You're not on board with the Luka trade, right? We're just making sure.
You
said Nico.
I bet the Lakers don't win the championship.
You don't
Got no
trade Luka.
defense.
You don't,
Ain't got no what?
you don't trade Luka.
Ain't got no defense.
You don't
Coming up
trade Luka.
next.
You don't trade Luka.
You eat up all the time.
I eat up all the time.
It
That was that dancing dog.
definitely wasn't the dance. Hey, me. Tote that thing. They're all the same thing, just said in a different way, except for Ali, who just wanted to blame Dak for something. I don't know.
Yes, how you played offense?
I mean, just look at the final scores of these games. Like, we're going to talk about something next that's crazy talk, where at the end of the day, as Steven would say, a lot of the population is going to look at every quarterback in football and say, how many wins did they have in the postseason? Did he win a Super Bowl? And all these different things. And if the Cowboys defense could have held a team to what the losing team score was in any of this weekend's games, Cowboys win the game.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Yeah.
They could have won every game this weekend if their defense would do whatever each winning team did. They just can't. So get it together. Or else. That's not a threat. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, the maybe my least favorite thing about the postseason so far, and we're going to go around the NFL. It's next. All right, let's get you signed up to be a diehard and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Check out the video of Jesse going to Taco Bell, by the way. It's on the DLLS Cowboys Twitter account. You can find it there. Is it on our channel? It's on the YouTube channel, I'm sure. You can find Jesse going to Taco Bell. No, maybe not. Look, just find it. Look up Jesse going to Taco Bell.
Yeah, he's doing it. And I got Joe's co-signing.
Look, Taco Bell.
You want to go back, don't you?
No, I don't. It was for the kids.
Did you get a Mountain Dew? Did you get a Baja Blast?
I did not.
Mountain Dew pie?
If Taco Bell wants to be a sponsor,
Yes.
just know that there is someone here who will talk good about you, and Jesse will be quiet while I do the read. He might even fake support. He'd be like, yeah.
For the right price.
Yeah.
I'll do something straight for some change.
Sign up to be a diehard. There's a QR code right there on the screen. When you do that, you can get a free T-shirt from our merch store, which is nice. It's a nice little starting point for your experience as a diehard. There's the Stay Shiesty. I do have the 88 Club shirt on underneath, I believe, underneath my hoodie. Let me see. Let me find it. See if I can get this off. Can you get that one? You can get sports over everything?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Got him yesterday.
I got the 88 Club on. It's right there. It's 88 Club. Get that down there. Yeah, see, I got that one. And that's just the beginning of what you get when you're a diehard. You're really signing up to, 1, support us, and 2, get access to everything you could possibly want about all your favorite DFW sports teams. You've got beat writers to cover every team. You get the premium content in there when you're a diehard. You get to pick the free T-shirt, and then you get discounts on merch and events. Want this hoodie? 20% off once you're signed up to be a diehard. You want to join our Discord and hang out and talk about wrestling with KG and GM Ben? You can do that.
I'm about to get that hoodie for the Super Bowl and the Combine. That's a nice warm hoodie. Looks like I can wear.
It is a nice warm hoodie. It is. It's good. You want this. So go ahead and sign up to be a diehard or else. Also sign up for the newsletter, alldlls.com/newsletter. That's for Ali's job security. Every one of us is in trouble. Ali's not in too much trouble, but if we don't have enough readers, he will be. So sign up for that. Thanks. It is the DLLS Cowboys podcast. And we mentioned some of the games over the weekend. The Houston Texans got a dub, and the Houston Texans got a dub despite their quarterback's best efforts to get an L. C.J. Stroud tried real hard to not win that game. But by the end of it, Aaron Rodgers was under siege, or as Clarence would say, they pounded him. They continued to pound him over and over.
Over and over.
There was a lot of the Texans were pounding Aaron Rodgers. And so the Texans got to win the football game. And Clarence, you were talking about it. C.J. Stroud's now what, 3-2 in the playoffs? Clutch quarterback.
Yeah, 3-2. Got more playoff wins than Dak. He's only been a quarterback 3 years. Much
clutch.
better quarterback than Dak. And we saw the evidence last night. He was awesome.
He's clutch.
He was reason why they won the game.
He really pounded when it was time.
The reason why they won the game. His QB win stat, this whole ring culture. You just like Jalen Hurts, right?
But yeah,
Much better quarterback than that because look at his playoff success.
he did it.
You know, it's much better.
There's competition, too. The wins, Cleveland, Chargers, and Pittsburgh. He lost to Baltimore and KC, 2 great AFC powerhouse teams.
All they care about is the win.
No, I know. Dak's faced better competition in the playoffs, I'm just going to say.
I don't know what side of the fence anyone wants to be on, but tell me what Peyton Manning numbers was when he was a Denver quarterback when they won the Super Bowl.
Oh, he was awful.
Right.
No one remembers.
He was not good.
No, all they remember is
I think he threw more picks than touchdowns that year.
all they remember is that he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
2-time.
Right? That's all they remember.
But he didn't have to be that for me. And he doesn't have to be that for you. You can sports fan however you want.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I'll get killed for this. Watching them over their entire careers, I think Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
I agree.
I think he was.
Actually, yes.
I think he was.
And I think Elway was better than
And
both
it's
of
what,
them.
I'm with you,
7-1?
too.
Like, Tom Brady's not 7 times better than Peyton Manning.
No, he's not.
And I guess technically it'd be 3.5 times. See, I don't even really, in my brain, I don't even count the Denver Super Bowl.
He won it.
Because he didn't win it.
No, he didn't.
Hey, he would have had
But
10
he
rings.
deserved it because he should have had
It's
more.
just like Russell Wilson winning the one, and it was really the Legion of Boom.
Right.
And then when they tried to get Russell Wilson to win, he threw an interception. And look off
Trent
the game.
Dilfer got a ring. Brad Johnson
Trent
got a ring.
Dilfer.
Jalen Hurts got a ring. Nick
Eli
Foles
has
got a
2.
ring.
And Eli's not a better quarterback than Tony Romo. But he has 2 rings.
Boy, thank God Peyton got that Denver one, because otherwise he'd be at dinner and Eli's got 2 and you got 1 and you were 17 times better. And they'll just keep telling you Cooper was the best of us. Head to neck.
Yeah, I just think that we go too far with QB wins, and he won in the playoffs, and we don't take into account of everything else. There's context to everything.
I agree with that, but I think I don't know how to say this.
There you go. That means he actually doesn't agree with you.
I think you're part of the problem.
I see.
Me?
Yeah.
Damn, I wasn't expecting that.
Because I think you do that with the Cowboys.
Strong.
I do what?
Like if they didn't win a championship, and therefore, and everybody wasn't good enough, and like, I don't know. I feel like at different times during the show we've had that where it's like no matter who the player is, it's like, well, he didn't win it, didn't win championship, and it's like,
No. When I do that, I'm really trying to take up for the quarterbacks because we kick the quarterback's butt all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, we kick Dak's butt and we kick Romo butt. They're not winners, but we celebrate the Wittens, Zach Martins, and guys who played great too, but they were also part of that.
Yeah.
But the only people that have to own the losses are the quarterback. And so that's why I'm really kind of being facetious.
Okay.
And it doesn't come across, but we kick the quarterback's butt. Look at J.J. Watt in the playoffs. No one talks about J.J. Watt in the playoffs.
Choke artist.
T.J. Watt, excuse me.
Choke artist.
No one talks about he has not had playoff success.
Yeah.
But it's only the quarterbacks who gets their butt kicked over that when there are so many other reasons why. You go back to Philadelphia. I mean, who led to Philadelphia to their first Super Bowl?
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
Technically, Carson Wentz got them the seeding.
No, the playoffs.
And then Nick Foles did it.
Okay, but I'm just saying, does that make him a better quarterback than the Dak Prescotts of the world or the Dan Fouts of the world?
No,
or
but
Dan
before-
Marinos of the world who've never won a Super Bowl?
Before Nick Foles started that playoff run, during that season, to most people, Carson Wentz was a better quarterback than Dak.
Of
He
course.
was that season though.
He was
That
having a good
season he
year.
was.
He was
He
having
was
a
having a
was.
great
He was
year.
actually
He had
MVP.
been the
That
same
year,
year.
he was.
He
He was
But
MVP.
which is why we don't get caught up into one season. And again, we get too caught up into he did this. I mean, last night was a perfect example. C.J. Stroud was downright awful. He should have been the reason why they lost that game.
Yeah. He was getting pounded.
And you would think everybody would think, well, C.J. Stroud, if they don't score, Aaron Rodgers gonna have some magic at the end of the game.
I saw Jesse on Twitter. He thought it was going down.
You said that. Aaron Rodgers magic.
At 7-6.
Yeah.
For much of that game.
At 7-6. And
Deep
what did
in the fourth
I
quarter.
said if you don't put him away,
Right.
the rattlesnake can come
Right,
back.
he gonna have
to
some
bite you.
magic. And really, the story was game. Even then, was about the Texas defense, how bad Stroud was playing. But if Aaron Rodgers makes one throw, it's gonna be all about Aaron Rodgers, the greatest Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And that could have happened. But the defense scored 2 touchdowns.
Defense said not today.
Defense scored 2 touchdowns. He was awful, but he has 3 playoff wins. Dak has 2, so his career is on a better trajectory.
Yeah, we just have to make sure that we do our part to make sure that the fan base understands. Tony Romo was good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Now, I also think that if you want to hold them accountable for the season or two that each of them had, where it's like, well, you might have had a shot this time, and you weren't good enough in that moment. The great teams, they get 6 cracks at it.
Right.
Like, you get to the playoffs as a good quarterback with a good team around you, and you get a bunch of chances at it. Around here, boy, it's really got to come together for you.
Right, which is why Dak lamented in the season for the first time. I can say, I can't point to my play and say this is why we lost.
Right.
You know, because I
Correct.
quote unquote did what I was supposed to do. We had a great year on offense. I can't say I cost us this. Maybe whether we agree or disagree, I can point to things. He can admit and point to the Green Bay game. He can admit and point to the 49ers game and say, I didn't play my best when it matters most. This year, he can't say that. And that's the point you're making. It shouldn't be where you have to be perfect all the time.
We also would be remiss if we did not wish a happy anniversary to everyone today.
Oh, this week, yes.
That's today, 13th, right?
I think it's
11th.
It was 11th, but it's this week.
Then you guys irresponsibly missed a happy anniversary yesterday, which
We
is
did.
as close as you could have gotten to the Dez catch. Just want to wish happy
That was
anniversary
the 11th?
to him and everyone else. Yeah,
was
but
the
that would have been on Sunday.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
11th.
So happy anniversary to Dez and all those who celebrate here on Dez Day, where the right play would have been to check it down to Cole Beasley, get a first down, eat the rest of this clock, and go ahead and then score your touchdown. Because even if that was a catch, you were still going to lose the game because Aaron Rodgers was going to go score because your defense was butt.
And we don't talk about the DeMarco Murray fumble.
Yeah. Julius Peppers.
Well,
That forced
Go Heels.
Murray was headed to the end zone.
had a little too much spray tan on
Julius
that arm,
Peppers.
you know, wasn't able to hold on to it.
Talk about spray tan.
Hall of Fame plate right there, man.
Had a little too much.
Yeah.
Mo Cow is in the super chat. DB and TD are good corners if we have a pass rush. I assume that's Blandon Diggs.
Well, they did. And they,
We'll see. I think on Diggs, we'll see. I don't know if he's ever going to be.
Too bad our DBs gave up too many TDs.
Yeah, they sure did. And I don't know if Trayvon Diggs will ever be anything near what he was. I don't know if he'll ever be a quality starting corner again. Many people have heard my theory on it. I think there's what he had was what he needed, and he doesn't have it anymore. He's not as athletic as he was, and without that, you can't play the way he played, and you can't be successful doing it. Bland, hopefully you can have a bounce-back season if you can get a little bit of a pass rush.
If he can stay healthy.
And if he can have his feet.
Feet.
Gotta have feet.
Jared talked about feet. I know feet was important. Feet. We're gonna do a feet.
I need that audio.
We're gonna do a feet channel with Bland.
Come on. I'm trying.
Not with Bland though, right?
Yeah, come on, Blaine.
We can do surgeries. We can do before and afters.
You know, I need foot surgery. I had a
'Cause
bad bunion.
That's good to know.
They don't do it. Unless it hurts really bad.
I heard,
they're gonna grow back.
No, which one
And
is
go
the
back.
bunion? Can I just get like the nail file you use on a dog, the circular one, where you just
That's all they do.
grind that thing off of there?
That's all they do. Is grind it down.
You want to do a live bunion surgery tomorrow? I'll do it.
No, I don't want you
Okay.
doing it.
I've still got the tools. I don't have
It's in
dogs
pain.
anymore, but I do have the
Oh, if
tools.
it's in pain, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Where is it? On the bottom?
No, right outside my big
So,
toe.
I
right?
don't know how bunions work because I don't have them because I have good
that-
hygiene on my feet.
That little one right on the side.
Oh, you got a little knot like a tree with a big old knob on the
Yeah.
trunk.
Yeah.
You got an extra foot toe.
Man,
Ladies like it. Creep them out at all?
they like me.
That's nice. GM Ben is in the super chat. We make a mean team, my Adidas and me.
My Adidas.
You don't worry about it.
You don't know that, do you?
Run DMC.
You're not that black.
Run DMC.
Run DMC, walk this way.
Walk this way. There you go.
Aerosmith cover,
There you
but
go. There you go.
still.
I walked
Walk
on ice
this way.
and never fell. Spent my time in a plush hotel. I stood on many stages, held many mics, take airplane flights. Don't worry about it.
So wait, so they did an Adidas thing?
Yeah, they have a song called My
Adidas.
And did it make Adidas cool with black people?
At that time, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the early 2000s, when I had some Adidas football cleats, I
This is
will tell
before-
you, my black friends did not think that was okay.
This was before the
Because I did not have
this was
Nike.
before the
Yeah,
2000s.
this is way before.
Wait,
2000.
we're
This
talking about
this
Run
is-
DMC.
We're talking about
Way before the
80s.
2000s.
So it went,
We're talking about
they got it going.
Yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
faded
yeah,
on
yeah,
us.
The Nike came.
Yeah,
first.
you went in there where you
That
should
was
have had some
Jordan
Nike.
era.
Nike era.
You should have had some Nike
You was
Vapors
in
or
the
something.
Jordan
like that.
era,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on. Jordan had taken over by then.
I had some very low cut Adidas soccer cleats because they
cleats.
were super light.
Yeah.
And that was what I was trying to eat.
I played in
I did
spot.
too.
I played in spot built cleats.
The who?
Exactly. I remember when champions used to be cool, and then it faded away, and now it's cool again. People wearing champion stuff. Now.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
back in
cool
the
again.
champions used to be big back in the 70s, 80s, and it kind of faded. Now champions is back.
This is how I know
I bet
that I
they were.
have not only
I bet they were.
approached but achieved old, or at least semi-old, because talking about used to be brands is really fun to me.
Oh my God, baseball
Jesse,
cleats.
what brand gloves did you wear in high school?
Oh man, it had to be the N. What was the N on them?
I had Cutters.
Oh no.
Oh, they were cold.
Newmans.
The Cutters were nice.
Those I
Newmans.
remember.
In high
Those I
school.
remember.
And maybe it was college Cutters.
Cutters, no, because I wore Cutters in the league.
Oh, I wore them in high school. I think.
No.
Unless
You
they
had
college.
Newmans.
I don't know what you're talking
We-
about.
You had
I remember.
Newmans
We
that
didn't
had
have
the,
receiver gloves in the 80s.
Thanks for stopping by.
Nor did y'all have helmets.
Remember, he was out there in mittens. Remember, we don't know anyone's going through. Be quiet, everybody. We love you, be easy.
eliminated contingencies.
The cold.
We all silly like the mayor.